Oh, sorry, I just kicked my knee. Ow. Hi, it's 4 o'clock on Thursday, which means it's getting tipsy with Erin or really hurting your knee. It's getting tipsy with Erin. Welcome to episode 26. Why your house isn't getting an over asking offer. Wow, that really hurts my knee. So, it is July 9th, 2020, Thursday, 4 p.m., episode 26 of Getting Tipsy with Erin. That's super exciting. You're about to hear me talking to myself. I'm sharing this so we all know. And we are going to talk about why your house isn't getting an over asking offer. So you're probably heard about the current real estate market. And you're hearing how sellers are getting over asking offers. Some are getting multiple over asking offers. And some are off the market in less than 24 hours. I listed a house last Thursday. Hi, Kim. How are you? And I was just trying to pull up. I should have had it pulled up. Sorry. Let's see if I can pull it up right here. I listed a house last Thursday in Lansdowne Lakes, and it was priced at $290, and a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath home. And it went on Thursday afternoon, I believe. And let's see if I can pull this up. Sorry, this is going to be super boring. We got in less than 24 hours. The showing started at about 12 on Thursday. And we stopped the showings at 10 on Friday morning. We had 5 offers. So again, the list price was $290. We had 5 offers. Those offers ranged between $290,000 and $305,000. So just to give you a feel of kind of what's going on in our market, it's a little crazy out there. So, and we were ratified. So 24 hours off the market. We had 5 offers, and we ratified for over list price. And it wasn't because it was underpriced. It's just there's not a lot of inventory on the market right now. And buyers need houses, and that's what's happening. So why are there houses still for sale? If you're one of those houses, why is that? If you're thinking of selling, how do you make sure you're not one of those houses? I'm going to tell you today what those factors are. So tune in. Reason 1, the price is not right. One of the top causes of a house sitting on the market longer than others is the price. I always tell people there's 3 reasons a house doesn't sell: the condition, the location, and the price. The location, unless you have the ability to pick a house up and move it. Hi, Kristen, how are you? You can't change the location. The condition, you can clean a house up and make it pretty. You can make it sparkle. You may have the ability to refurbish some things, rehab some things, but without dumping a ton of money into it. The price is how you can counter some of those things. So maybe you don't want to hear it, but it's true. The ultimate deciding factor of the home value is what a buyer is willing to pay for it. It's not what the seller thinks it's worth. It's what the market thinks it's worth. On paper, you may list out all the updates you've done, how much you've spent, how much money you want to net from the home sale. That doesn't mean that the number is going to reflect what someone's actually willing to pay. Many sellers that I talk to have a mindset to price the home on the high end in hopes of ultimately getting the price they want, or because they want some room to negotiate. That's really not your best mentality. It can backfire, and here's why. Kind of depending on where you set the price, you could be missing out on an entire pool of buyers that would be interested in the house if you actually had it listed at the price you want to get. For example, let's say you ought to ultimately want to sell your home for $350 and you list it at $360 to give yourself that negotiating room. By raising it to $360, you just priced it above $10,000 above the people that have capped their search at $350. Because generally, buyers are setting those increments at that 50 or 25. They've done it at 25s or 50s, kind of depending. And talk to your realtor. Call me. I'm happy to tell you. It kind of depends what price range you're in. If you're in the 200s, it's different. If you're in the 300s, it's different. When you get a little bit higher, it's different. Where people set those parameters. And when you're in a seller's market, you want to have that competitive edge. You want to be more aggressive than greedy. If you can reach more buyers at a competitive edge, the chance of you getting multiple offers that are over asking, resulting in the price you ultimately want to get, is much higher. And one thing to consider when it comes to price is that if you're having a lot of showings but not a lot of offers, you're likely priced too high. And the market is showing you that, and you want to readjust that number quickly. We typically say if you've had 10 showings without an offer and there's not like an outlying factor, like if you live in the Great Neck area, I've sold some houses in Great Neck Estates or Broadway Estates or Broadway Point Greens that back up to Great Neck Road. And that's a busy road, right? So there's people that don't want to back up to Great Neck Road. That's a factor. So if people say they just didn't want to back up to Great Neck Road, okay, we can't do anything about it. We can't pick up the house and move it. So if there's 10 showings there, hi Coach Sawyer, then that's a thing. But if you have 10 showings without one of those type of factors, it's the price. Another thing when you're looking at that price, and I had this conversation with another seller, not the one that we had with all those multiple offers. He wanted to list, and it was kind of in that same price range. He wanted to list it at $300, and there was no house in his neighborhood that had sold above $285. And I said, why don't we try and list it at $285? And I really feel like you're going to be more competitive at $285. You're going to have come in and people will you'll have multiple offers, and then you'll be able to negotiate away closing cost assistance. It'll sell faster. And if you can negotiate away the closing cost, you won't have any closing costs and you won't have any carrying cost. And when I showed him a net of $285 with no closing cost assistance and no carrying cost versus $300 with 3% closing cost and a month's worth of carrying cost, the net was better at $285. So think about those things too when you're looking at how that works out. Now what happened was we put it on at $285, and in 12 hours we had 6 offers. 2 of them had escalation clauses. We sold it for $10,000 over list price with no closing cost. So we actually did $10,000 better than how he listed it at $300. So just a thought there. Reason number 2, you don't look your best online. Kind of like when a realtor is using her headshot from 1965. Here's the deal. 99.5% of your buyers, the first time they're seeing your home is online before they ever step foot in your front door, which means your home online has to look the best. You need to use professional real estate photography. And look, when I first started, I convinced my mom that I could take all of our photos. I was a photography minor in college. No. You need a professional real estate photographer. And I'm good, but I'm not that good. I use virtual Tidewater. Zuhair is my guy. We go and we take photos. And he can truly put the house in its best light. He can walk through and he'll move stuff. I move stuff. And it's stuff you don't think about. There's a video, one of these videos that you can look through, and I'll send you. You don't have to have, even for showings, you don't have to have the house the way you have it for photos. And I show people the difference in that. My 2012 South Haven Drive was a really good example of that, of how they had it for photos versus how they had it for showings. They were still great. They were both great, but they had to live in it during showings. It's just, trust me, you want it to be as clear and sparkly and beautiful for photos, because that's what's going to get them in the door. Once they're in the door, you can live in the house. You can have your knife block on. You can have your Ninja Foodie on the counter. It's okay. Your pillow doesn't have to have the chop in it. Your garbage can be in the kitchen. Things like that. But, and another way to look at this is check your online views. Your agent can do this for you and tell you how much internet activity your listing's having. And that'll tell you something about your listing. Reason number 3, you haven't prepped for your showing. So when your showings are scheduled, you'll know. Sometimes they'll call and be like, hey, I'm right outside. Can I see the house? And you're like, yeah. I get it. But are you prepping for your showings to help highlight your home's best features? Your agent can help you make sure that the showing experience is the best experience possible. Put the toilet seat down. Don't leave wet towels on the floor. Don't leave your underwear on the floor. Have your beds made. I know it may be a pain, and I get it. Having your house on the market can be a little difficult, but if you do it right, it'll be difficult for a few days. I just went through this with some sellers, and I told them if they could give me 3 days, I'd have their house under contract. And in 3 days, I had their house under contract. And then it was easy. And so then when we went to home inspection, I was like, you don't have to do all this again. But I have a checklist, and you can go through your checklist. It's actually funny. My last 2 listings, I have a checklist of things that I ask my sellers to do. And it's funny because they never do everything I ask them to do. I expect them to do like 2 or 3 because that's all anyone ever really does on my checklist. And both of these sellers did the whole checklist probably 3 or 4 times and then did beyond it. And I was like, ooh. Both of their houses went under contract very quickly. So, if you do it right, if you prepare your house correctly, if you price it correctly, trust what your realtor is saying. If they've done the research, they're setting you up for success. If you have questions, I'm happy to help you. But to quickly recap what I've covered, if you jumped in late, top 3 reasons you're not getting an over asking offer or you're not under contract already while other houses are getting scooped up in this market with no inventory. Your price isn't right, you don't look good online, and you haven't prepared for your showings. So thanks so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you have any questions, you have anything you want to share, feel free to reach out. If you have anything you want me to cover, let me know. And I will see you guys next Thursday at 4. Hopefully I won't nail my knee right in the beginning. And have a great weekend. Bye, guys.